It all starts with PBRs. Did a PBR with Bishop Mike Jones. Before I entered that PBR, I knew my number, very significant. I knew my number that I wanted to hit. I knew my number in all three categories. So it's really important to understand what you're going for before you get to the PBR. With me knowing the number of guests that would be in that PBR. So, of course, all of these things go together. I know the number of guests. I have a little bit of background about the guests as well. That helps. That's a helpful hint as well. Helpful tip. But all of these things combined together help me formulate my number. And much like everyone else on the team on this call, I'm sure there were sacrifices made. I'm sure there were sacrifices made in order to do that PBR, which so you want to be intentional with your time. You want to create results. You want to help the individual create results. So you have to have a target before you even get into the PBR. Now, as we got through the PBR, considering the number of guests, considering what your goal was, in that PBR, I closed out, meaning doing the 4 through 10, and right away we sort the room. Right away we understand who's in the room. Keep in mind, we all know that there's only two different individuals in that room, the individual that wants to save money or the individual says, not a chance, I'm going to save money and be a business partner to make money. So I sorted the room, and the enrollment process began, of course, considering my numbers. So you know what your numbers are. You have to go after that number. Here's the bottom line, and this was the result. $4.99 was just not available. We had a few customers sign up, and that's great because, again, that completes the trifecta, that's a part of the trifecta. But then $4.99 was not available immediately. One of the individuals wanted to post-date it, which is fine. We're going to create some urgency around that. We're going to create some value so that the post-dated application isn't as far out. But here's the immediate result. The immediate result was, how can I move an individual who likes the business? $4.99 might be an issue. How can I get them to understand that $4.99 it might be an issue, but $159 is a lot easier to come up with, if you will, than $4.99. So Mike Jones is doing an amazing job at helping me close this room out. He's encouraging his guests. He's like, well, wait a minute. He's creating value for the International Convention in Philly. So here's the end-all, be-all. Those guests, the same ones that did not have the $4.99, were able to come up with $159. Two individuals got registered, full payment right on the spot for $159. Here's the other message I'd like to convey to you guys. Number one, I had a number was going in. Number two, I had to make adjustments in terms of who's in the room. At the end, the third lesson, perfectly transparent on this line, I'm calculating what it costs in terms of time, in terms of gas, in terms of my babysitter, for me to come from Delaware to Philadelphia to do this meeting. What I was determined to do was not leave that meeting empty-handed. What I was determined to do was help Mike Jones create results in that meeting. When you're intentional, when you show up, when you're ready to dominate, when you're ready to produce results, it will happen. See, if I went into this knowing, okay, there's 4 guests, it's hot, it's extremely hot in the room, if I went into this with all of these doubts, if I went into this with uncertainty, if I went into this unprepared without a number, no results would have happened. Please understand, in order to create results, you have to believe. You have to believe in yourself first. You have to believe in your skill. You have to believe that you're going to create results. Because if it does not start with you, if you do not believe, then where's the result? How does all of this come in together? So again, at the end of that PBR, I'm saying to myself, all things considered, I have to be able to help him create a result. There were 2 customers and 2 pre-registers that completed their registrations right on the spot. So the message, again, be intentional about your result. You want to be specific with your number, and you want to make it happen. You want to help the individual because that's what they need. That's what they're relying on their upline and their mentor to do, create results. Now, what is result? And what is it for? Philly. I can't leave this call without literally closing out and speaking about Philly. We are not playing with this. This is something that will literally change the lives of each and every one of us on this line. If you have the attitude to go in and dominate, if you have the attitude to not just compete but to dominate in pre-register, you'll understand how serious this international convention is and can be. Point blank, bottom line. So my message, again, is not to just be intentional with your results, but dominate in every area. Dominate in pre-register. Be understanding to the fact if an individual does not have $4.99, do not be afraid to say, well, $159 is a lot easier to come up with. Can you come up with that? Do not be afraid to say that. Do not be afraid to go after that pre-reg. That's simple. But if you're not willing to step up and say that, if you're not willing to close out properly, if you're not willing to dominate the category of recruiting and registering an individual, then it won't happen. It will not happen. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to dominate the category of pre-registrations. We want to dominate that category. If you understand how significant this international convention is, you'll be crazy with pre-registering. But be intentional about your number, be intentional about the results, and go to work. Start to create a result every single day. Every single day you should wake up with a number. Wake up with a number that you can reach. Wake up with a number that you're serious about. If your number is 100, can you really hit that 100 in one day? If your number is 20, be intentional with your results and go out and you create that result with that number in mind. You have to be intentional about your results. So be intentional about your results. Be serious about closing out the individual and closing out the PBR and helping the individual that you are there to produce results for. Be intentional with your numbers going into the PBR. Be serious about creating that results because, again, we all know that you've taken time away from your friends, from your family members, from your children in order to do that PBR. Be serious about the 3 categories, customer production, IBOs, and pre-registration. Be serious about hitting. Have a backbone. Do not be afraid to ask MasterCard or Visa. And remember, if $4.99 is not available, we want to go right to, well, how about $159? How about $159? Because we all know the significance. The last thing, dominate pre-registrations for Philadelphia. Dominate. Take it seriously. Take it serious. Have your number in mind. Go after your number each and every day. Each and every day, enter in pre-regis. There should not be a day that goes by that you are not entering in pre-regis. If you understood how significant this event is for yourself and your family, if you also understood that we as a team can dominate and get free. We all know what freedom means on Team Revolution. That's having time and money together. This is our opportunity. From what I understand, this international convention has not come to Philly for about 10 or 11 years. I don't know about you guys. But I'm not waiting another 10 years.